Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we are finally previewing Week 1. The New York Jets versus the Buffalo Bills. But before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast. New episodes are dropping every Wednesday now, so we could talk about, what's going on from the previous week and preview the next week. Midweek drop makes too much sense. Also, check out Patreon, patreon.com/Matt O'Leary NY. Gets you exclusive content. We're talking articles, Q&As, live streams before the game, and a whole bunch of fun stuff. Check it out, patreon.com/Matt O'Leary NY. Link in the description. And promo code JETS20 gets you 20% off Manscaped, manscaped.com. You can get yourself a Lawnmower 3.0. Use its skin-safe technology. Make shaving a breeze when you have to do your manscaping. Definitely worthwhile to check out. Link is also in the description down below. So the Buffalo Bills were definitely the better team last year. They made the playoffs, and the New York Jets did not at 7-9. If you want to look at what's going to happen in this game, well, it's going to be tough to say because there's no preseason, but on paper, again, I think the Bills roster is better than the New York Jets. But here's why I think some things could play in the Jets' favor. Let's go through the whole rundown right now. So, Buffalo ranked 21st in offensive DVOA last year. Their defense was much better. 7th in defensive DVOA, while the New York Jets were 32nd, worse than the league in offensive DVOA, and 11th in defensive DVOA for 2019. So both teams have a strong defense, which leads me to believe a low-scoring game. Both teams also have a young quarterback that was taken in the 2018 draft class. So let's look at both those guys. Josh Allen last year had a 58.3 completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had just over 3,000 yards, 3,089, which is 193.1 yards per game. He had a 6.7 yards per attempt and an 85.3 overall passing rating. In 13 games last year, Sam Darnold had a 61.9 completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 3,024 yards, which is 232.6 per game. Played 3 less than Josh Allen last year, 6.9 yards per attempt and an 84.3 rating. I would argue that Darnold is the better passer. At this point in his career, both guys are looking to take a step forward into year 3, so we will see with both of these guys. And something else of note, against the New York Jets, Josh Allen has played 3 games, one of which was just 5 passes, pretty much 1 drive in Week 17, not counting that. He has 2 starts where he played the complete game, and in those 2 games, he has 7 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost, so he has been turnover prone against this New York Jets defense. As for Sam Darnold, in all of his starts, he has never thrown for more than 200 yards. Under 200 yards in his first 3 starts. Has been able to limit turnovers, which I'll give him credit for, but hasn't been able to put up a great offensive production. And last year, in Week 17, in the final week of the year, it was very mediocre. And in his first game, in Week 1, he was playing sick. So he didn't look all that great either, unfortunately. And we're going to have to see how he's able to fare against this really tough defense. But definitely looking at these 2 quarterbacks, because that's the storyline. Who's better? Is it Darnold? Is it Allen? I would say Darnold. I think a lot of Jets fans would say Darnold. Allen has had more success on a better team. No doubt about it, and he's a better athlete. One of the other things I'm looking forward to watch is the matchup between Pierre Desir and Stephon Diggs. Diggs comes over in a trade. Buffalo gives up a first-round pick. They are moving and trying to get pieces in order to help their young quarterback, go figure, take a next step forward. And Diggs is a number 1. Like, he's legit. He had over 1,100 yards last year, I believe 6 touchdowns. He's a really good wide receiver. And he is going to be going up against Pierre Desir, who last year allowed 64.9% of passes completed against him. He had a really tough year in Indy. In 2018, he was really, really good. So what version are we getting? And this is definitely a matchup that I'm intrigued by, because obviously Diggs is a really good receiver, and Desir has a lot to prove this year to me, so that is something that I am looking forward to seeing, and who gets the edge there. Le'Veon Bell's usage is something else I'm looking forward to in this game. I think I would try to feed him the ball. I would try to give him 25-plus touches between running and catching the ball. He is the Jets' best playmaker. Him and Chris Herndon, the offense should run through them. They both, to me, are the Jets' best playmakers. And last year in Week 1, he had a pretty decent game against them. Buffalo is much better against the pass than they are against the run, so I am actually for giving Le'Veon Bell a significant amount of touches. Hopefully Frank Gore isn't in the mix too much. I don't think that's a good matchup. Frank Gore trying to run right into that offensive line. He's not as fast as he used to be. Le'Veon Bell trying to, make some guys miss on that defensive line. I have a little bit more faith in. Again, he played pretty well in week 1 against them, had a receiving touchdown as well. So we'll see, but I definitely think that Le'Veon Bell should be getting at least 25 plus touches combined. So we're talking maybe like 18 rushes, 7 receptions, something like that, in order for him to be effective in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills and for this Jets offense to be effective against Buffalo in week 1. Another huge thing, Jets offensive line. So they have 4 new starters on the offensive line. Obviously, a rookie left tackle making his NFL debut. Fant on the other side, on the right side, as a right tackle. And he has been shaky with his time in Seattle, hasn't had a ton of starting experience. The guards are 2 veterans who are okay. Alex Lewis returning, the lone starter who returned from last year. He wasn't even an opening day starter last year, which is wild. Right guard is going to be Greg Van Roten, who I think is okay. Both guys are fine. They're not phenomenal, not long-term pieces, but they could hold down the fort for 1 year. Connor McGovern is definitely, in my eyes, the best piece of this offensive line, but how do they gel together? That's what I'm really looking forward to see. And that defensive line and that front for the Buffalo Bills is really, really good. So I'm nervous about that. Matchup is a little bit something that's shaky. We'll see. Hopefully they are better than what they were last year. This was a bottom 3 offensive line unit in the NFL last year. I would argue bottom 1. But if this, unit as a whole could be at least mediocre and let's say like 20th, that would be excellent if they could get up to 20th. And Sam Darnold would absolutely reap the benefits of that. All right, so let's get into some predictions. I will give you what I think my stat line is going to be for Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. So I'm going to have Darnold go 21 of 33, which is a 63.6 completion percentage for 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. I'll have Josh Allen go 17 of 32, which is a 53% completion percentage, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he'll have 45 yards rushing. We know he likes to get the legs involved. The Jets are usually pretty good against the run, so let's say that he has a little bit less than 50 yards. We'll say 45 for Josh Allen. So who wins this game? We went through all the pieces, and in week 1, and for the first few weeks of this season, actually, I think we're going to get some sloppy football. These teams had not played any preseason games. It's been a long, long time since they played games that counted, and the training camp has definitely been unique this year, and I think it plays in the Jets' favor, a sloppy game, because I don't expect there to be a ton of points. So, one, if you're interested in betting, take the Jets plus 6.5. That spread is way too big. I'm taking the Jets plus 6.5, and I'm actually taking the Jets to win the game. I think they win 17-14. That's going to be my final score prediction. I expect it to be 17-14, 2017 kind of game. Would I be shocked if Buffalo won? Absolutely not. I think they're the better team, but I think in week 1 it plays into the Jets' favor that both teams are going to be rusty and it's going to be a low-scoring game. I potentially think a turnover could be a complete game changer in a low-scoring game, so give me the Jets plus 6.5 and give me the Jets to actually win outright 17-14. Also this year, we're going to do a little gimmick. So not only am I going to pick the games, and I'm going to keep track of what my record is with the picking these New York Jets games. No, not against the spread. Just straight up. We'll do straight up if I pick the Jets to win. And if I get that right and the Jets win on Sunday, that means I'm 1-0. If they lose, that means I'm 0-1. So I'm going to go up against my dog. Do I know more football than my dog, Casey? Let's find out how she thinks this game's going to go. Casey's going Buffalo. So she is taking Buffalo. I am taking the New York Jets. We will have you covered and see what our records is. We're going to be going all season long. Let's see if I am smarter than a dog in picking these games. It's going to be, it's gimmicky, but it's going to be fun. So, yes, I am taking the New York Jets 17-14. I expect it to be an exciting game. Low scoring, but that's Jets football. That's AFC East football. Low scoring, defensive battles. I'm so excited for football to be back. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Make sure to tune in as I will have you covered this weekend for a ton of football coverage. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.